Sun Don't Shine dropped an album on us April 1st, From Birth to Death. Let's get into it right now, Derek.
Yeah, I find it fascinating that we are, today, we're actually celebrating the 16th year anniversary of Peter Steele's passing. And we're sitting here talking about Kenny Hickey and Johnny Kelly of Typo Negative fame and their new band Sun Don't Shine. And fittingly, it's the album title is From Birth to Death. So here we are. Everything's going full circle, and I love it. I think it's great, and it's a great tribute that Peter's still around, and that these guys, these great musicians, are actually carving out a niche with a very unique record.
Yeah, absolutely. Who else? We've got Kirk Winstein on guitar and vocals from Crowbar and Down. We've also got Todd Strange on bass, also from Crowbar and Down. Johnny Kelly on drums, Kenny Hickey on guitar and vocals. And they are a solid band. This is a solid record. Dwayne Simino produced and recorded it at OCD Studios. And I have enjoyed the hell out of listening to it the past couple of days, well, the past couple of weeks now. Unfortunately, tech problems and life have gotten in the way, or we would have been on this one sooner. But as you said, it's fitting that we're talking about it today.
Yeah, sorry, Kenny. Sorry, Johnny. You guys have both been on the podcast. We would have done it sooner, but life gets in the way. As you can see behind me, I don't know if you can, but I'm moving. So life is definitely a little bit crazy. But let's start with Power to Live. There is a jam session in the middle of that track that I love. And it felt a little bit Typo Negative-y, which would stand to reason because Typo Negative was always grounded in Black Sabbath. So what was your take on that track?
Before we get into my granular thoughts on it, I wanted to ask you what you think about, will Typo Negative fans, how will Sun Don't Shine translate for Typo Negative fans? It's a different animal, right?
Yeah, it is not a Typo Negative record. And frankly, for Todd and Kirk, this is not really a Crowbar record. I mean, Crowbar, like literally Kirk sounds like he's got the biggest testicles in the world that he's dragging behind him in Crowbar. And he sounds like he's in pain while dragging those huge testicles behind him. I'm not kidding with you. And so if you're expecting to hear Crowbar here, you're not going to. If you're expecting to hear the southern jam of Down here, you're not going to. If you're expecting to hear romantic vampire music or the pain of Peter Steele, you're not going to. But what you are going to hear here is tinges of grunge, a lot of Bad Motor Finger by Soundgarden. And I think it's a fair comparison. And then there's obviously the Doom elements because that's who the four members of the band are. But Doom is not the driving force here. And the heavy low end of Crowbar is not the driving force. And the goth and the keyboards and the Beatles-esque choruses of Typo Negative are not. This is, to me, it's a alternative rock record that kind of teeters into metal.
Yeah, it definitely has the Doom frosting on the top, the Sabbath inspiration, of course, the Beatles you mentioned. There are some songs on here that I went, man, like, and Kenny has talked about that they are one of his big inspirations, and it really shines through on this. Some of these tracks we've had for a little while, Cryptomnesia, the Promise song have been out for a while now, and the rest of this album sits so nicely against those two songs that we already knew. But going back to track by track, Power to Live, great song, nice album opener, gives you a real nice flavor of the ride that you're going to be on for the next 8-10 tracks.
Yeah, and again, that track really did a nice job of kind of setting the table for me, and then leading into Cryptomnesia. I love that track. I've always liked it since it came out. It felt like, and I mean this in the best way possible, an ode to Chris Cornell, right down to, and you'll probably correct me on this, the bubbling like guitar tones in the middle of the track that just screamed. It absolutely screamed Soundgarden. What would you call it?
Yeah, it's a tremolo or a vibrato effect on the guitar, which, if in relation to Soundgarden, is all over the song Black Hole Sun. And it does have a similar vibe.
Yeah, and Kenny just sounds great
Yeah.
on this track. And he he had said when we met with him that he's sober and he's clean and he's feeling good. And, and it makes me think about, well, if Peter was still alive, what would they be playing together right now and how would they sound?
Yeah.
But this is as close as we're going to get. And this is a great track. Definitely the high water mark for me for Whose Sun Don't Shine are.
I love it. That it came out in November of 23. So again, we've had it for a while, and the cascading chord progressions throughout are super cool. Great vocal melodies. Illustrates what Kenny can do with his voice. Kenny is strong. He's a strong singer, and he gets up there in range too, which can kind of suck if you don't have the power behind it to go that high. But he's got it. And how much of that can be attributed to his physical health and sobriety, I don't know. But it translates here, and his vocals are really great throughout. Yeah, Cryptomnesia, awesome song. Love it. Moving on to Coming Down, track 3. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, Coming Down is, I love that Kenny kind of coos on this, but in a very eerie way. Dual guitar harmonies are absolutely fantastic. It's just a very heavy atmosphere to this track.
Yeah.
And I think it's very well done. And again, it teeters on all the bands that I've kind of touched on in the past, but it's theirs. They made it their own.
It's a song that really illustrates Kenny's kind of slippery vocal style when he wants to bring that trick out. That's very cool. I love Johnny's 4 on the floor on the kicks through a good portion of the song. And that's one of the great things about Johnny as a drummer is Johnny writes parts that serve the song. He's super, super solid drummer. And I'm not taking anything away when I say that he writes stuff that, again, it serves the song. It's not flash. It's not over the top. It works as a foundational element in the songs. And he's been that kind of drummer as long as I've been aware of him. And it's great. It's one of the things that makes him such a great drummer. And that choice, and it was a great choice to keep that kick drum simple through, I think it's through the verses. It just keeps everything moving, and it's not too much. And that's a and I'm a prog guy, and I often like too much, but there is a limit. And that's the great thing about him as a drummer and these guys as a band is it's restrained enough that it's not all over the place. So yeah, it's just a great song.
Solid. All You Wasted. What's your take?
Love it. I love the matching guitar and bass lines during the choruses. I think it's the choruses anyway. With that single note progression. This is one of the tracks that to my ear really shows Kenny's Beatles inspiration.
Sure.
Just the song crafting and the way that the song is written. I think it is a super cool song, and I love the progressions. It's one of the this album has a lot of standouts for me. I mean, shit. Cryptomnesia, Coming Down, all you wasted right there. 3 out of the first 4 songs are standouts. That's pretty strong.
Absolutely. I thought the chemistry on this was great. It's kind of like a grubby noir. It's just a dirty 2-headed monster. The 2 leads, going back and forth. It's visceral. It's unapologetic. It was just such a solid track. And again, like you said, the beginning, the first half of this record is just a really, really solid piece. And that's not to say that what we're going to be talking about is poor.
Right.
But wow, holy crap. And again, I'm the biggest Typo Negative fan in the world. I love Down. I am a big, huge Down fan. I played a ton of Crowbar at WWLR in college radio. So I'm a Crowbar fan going way back into the 90s. And yet here we are with something completely different from these artists. And I'm eating it up. And it's not the heaviest shit in the world.
Yeah.
It's not, it's not Meshuggah. It's not Periphery from our, last podcast. It is, in fact, something that stands on its own.
I think it bridges the gap, though, because it's heavy. It is not a light album. I mean, no. you could call it a rock album, but I think that would be doing it a bit of a disservice, for somebody who says, "Hey, I'd like to put on something that's got some teeth to it," not to completely go back to what we talked about at the top about them being, metal, doom, hard rock, some grunge in there too. There's a couple of tracks in here. What is it? Well, I think it's the next one.
When
I'm
It's
sorry.
Time to Leave.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Promise song, but When It's Time to Leave, really dark vibes in this track. Really dark. I think, and this is I'm taking a bit of a swing here. I think that Kirk and Kenny wrote the music for this, and the guitar players in the audience are going to crucify me if I don't get this right. I think it's called the Phrygian mode. And it's, scales and all this technical stuff that I don't understand, but it lends this really dark, ominous feel to it. And it is all over this track. It's like heavy doom vibes to me. And I think that's cool for a lot of reasons, not the least of which is that it illustrates that this band can do some really cool, heavier shit without being as bone-crushingly heavy as some of the other stuff that we've gotten into over the years. It doesn't have to crush your chest to have an impact.
Agreed. And this track feels like a slower, more reflective track to me, maybe a tribute to some fallen heroes like Dimebag Darrell and Peter. You'd have to ask them, and maybe we will. But it's very contemplative to morality and done so in a beautifully musical, heavy way. And we're on track 5, and I still have yet to find a track I haven't liked.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one, the Promise song. This track has all kinds of cool vibes to it. It kind of made me think, again, not to say that, it sounded just like or anything like that, but I picked up some 90s era like Jane's Addiction vibes from this, which I loved. They were one of my favorite bands back. God, we're aging ourselves here, man. But
I got the gray.
Yeah. Great choices with the guitar and the production effects that are layered into a really great effect. The song has an awesome middle break in there. Super, super cool song.
Yeah, it's a bait and switch a little bit. It's fairly bouncy and optimistic. And then it drops into a crushing and again, Soundgarden-esque dirge. I think that's a fair word. It's a versatile song. For me, I think a lot of times when you listen to categories of bands, and when you listen to doom metal bands or stoner bands, a lot of times they're kind of mushed in together. You think of them as being kind of, you hear one song, you've heard them all.
Yeah.
And if they're classifying themselves as a doom metal band, Sun Don't Shine, they're not a one-note doom band.
Right.
And I thought that this track really made that point. It's like, fuck you, doom industry or doom bands out there that have 10 tracks that sound the same and just go get high and like it. They're writing some serious music. And they're making you think, and they're giving you some thought-provoking ear candy.
Yeah, there's some really, really solid songcraft on this album, which is cool. When I was a younger music listener, I don't know that I appreciated the work that went into songwriting. You'd hear it, a song that had a catchy melody or whatever, or had a cool guitar riff in it, or a cool drum intro or a drum fill. But it's really way more than those individuals. I mean, it's more than the sum of its parts. And that goes back to what I was saying about Johnny playing parts that serve the song and fit with each little journey of music across an album from start to finish. And these guys, they're right there with it, man. This is a super solid record. And I think the talent in the aggregate and individually really shows through in all these tracks.
Absolutely. And what's cool about What You Are, and moving on to that, is that it felt like Todd Strange had an opportunity to shine here.
Yeah.
The track kind of is built around his bass line on it. And, it felt familiar to me. It was dark. It was slow, a fairly unrelenting track, but it captures kind of the core of who the band is. Not as dynamic as some of the other tracks, but again, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's got a nasty tone on this track too, Todd does. Really fat, gritty, ugly bass tone, and I love it. Black to Red. we're coming up on the end, regrettably. But Black to Red, what do you think?
A high energy sludge is what I had for notes. That's what I was actually
agree.
listening to this yesterday, and I was painting, and the high energy sludge. That was what and the momentum in it. It's a little bluesier, I thought, than some of the other tracks, but it definitely it's a banger.
Yeah. One of the cool things that these guys do, I don't want to say a lot in this record, is the feel shift. You know, they'll go from a straight ahead feel to a swing feel with that blues, that blues vibe to it. And they do a great job of moving in and out of those different feels. Again, not specifically to this track, but it's just one of those things that I remember hearing over the course of learning this record. So it's great. And then the album closes with In the End.
It's an exorcism, I think, for Kenny. Maybe Kirk, maybe the whole band. I don't know, but it seems like a very personal track about sobriety, legacy. It's reflective. It feels a little bit like a resurrection song as well. And the trade-off, between Kenny and Kirk is fantastic. And so I remember the first time I listened to the album all the way through, I was thinking to myself, God damn, Kenny and Johnny have written the soundtrack to my life. I've told both of them that on this podcast, and they're continuing to. And Kirk has been, again, for me, going back to college in the 90s with Crowbar and Down. And he, too, has written, and Todd, have written albums that have stood with me. And these four continue to write, for me, the soundtracks to my life. And I can't thank them enough. I really can't. So.
Well, I was wondering if I just pulled it up. I was wondering if we were going to get lucky enough to see some shows this year. And Kenny has said, per the internet, and we know the internet never lies. If it's on the internet, it's true. And Kenny has said that they are definitely going to find the time and they are going to tour this year. It's in the works, but it's tough because, Johnny alone is in like 8 different bands. He's the busiest drummer out there right now. So hopefully we're going to get some stuff. I really would like to see these guys on a stage. All 4 of them up there just crushing it, because I think this is a great album. I look forward to what they continue to release as the months and years go on. I hope they continue to do so.
Yeah, From Birth to Death is got 90s Seattle in its soul, but it's kind of if you were to drag it through a NOLA swamp. and I think that's a fair way of assessing it. And I also think that somewhere in the nether, Pete is probably given a tip of the cap, and I'm sure Chris Cornell would also be like, right on. And there's something to be said for that, to be able to take the sounds of the past and weave them together to make it something for today. And so props to them, and I hope that a lot of other fans of the Typo Negatives and the Crowbars and the Downs are able to come into this with an open mind and really listen to it.
You're going to love it. It's an easy album to listen to, which is a good thing. There's nothing derogatory in that statement. Some albums, if you're not paying attention, you are going to miss a lot of shit. There is a lot of shit that can be missed in this if you're not paying attention. But it's one of those nice albums that you can just let sort of wash over you if that is the vibe you're in. It's a great record, a great outing. I'm super happy for the guys. As you said, we've talked with Kenny and Johnny, a number of times. They're great dudes. Like to get Kirk and Todd on with them. Hopefully we can get the whole gang in for a chat and tell us what was in their heads when they started putting all this stuff together a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I know that when they went to the studio, they seemed pretty amped with the chemistry between the 4 of them. And it definitely shows, and it seems like they were all able to breathe and put their own creativity into it, and the output is as solid as can be.
Well, I think they were smart in that they didn't rush anything. They've been working on this material for a long time. We know going back to 2023 when Cryptomnesia came out. So they gave it the time that they wanted to give it, that they felt it deserved. And there's sometimes you can hear it, you listen to a record and you go like, shit, you can tell this thing got ripped out in the course of 2 or 3 nights. So and this ain't it.
Cryptomania. I for some reason, I feel like kleptomania is in your brain because you play Grand Theft Auto way too much.
I probably do. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like at the back of your head, you're stealing hookers and, stealing cars and good Lord.
Stealing hookers and sleeping with cars.
Or the other way around, whatever you want to do. You could sleep with a car if you want. But on that note, if we're starting to talk about Grand Theft Auto, it's time to go.
Yeah.
But great record. Listen to it. You will be glad you did.
Yep. Out, released 4/1 of 2026 on Corpse Paint Records. They've got cool stuff happening. Pay attention to that label too. So great album. Happy to talk about it. And I will talk to you on the next one.
Sounds good.
All right. See you, man.